Welcome to the most frustrating plan with me I have ever filmed. So I finally got a Laurel Denise planner. I went with the 2025 and I'm just going to go ahead and redate the planner so I don't have to buy a 2026. So I've already started setting up January. I've got my upload dates here and my work schedule. At the top of the weekly, I'm going to put my cleaning, then I'm going to have every step for my YouTube videos, and then that bottom row, I'm kind of wanting to do some type of time block section. I'm kind of just deciding what times I want to use. We've got habit trackers on this last part, and then I've divided a few different sections on this last page. Notes for the previous month, analytics for each of my channels, goals, that kind of thing. So I really think using this planner is going to be much better than the system that I've been using, and I'm excited to move into it. So much so that I don't really want to wait. So since I'm not going to be using these yearly pages or these other two pages in front, I was thinking of going ahead and getting it set up so that I can move in right away. I really don't like the planner that I had previously that I was using, so I'm trying to use this paper here and these small monthly spreads that I can add to the page so I can start move in and plan for November and December. So I don't think that this was a bad idea. I just think that I had several hiccups and I'm kind of trying to salvage at this point, frankly. So first I went ahead and kind of laid out where I wanted to put my monthly spread at the top, and I was going to use the lined paper and cut that up to kind of put at the bottom. As you can see right there, I'm kind of playing with the space a little bit. It's a little bit tight having these 2 months on 2 pages, but I figured I really want to move into this planner now, so this is kind of the best way I could think to do so. And this is where I started running into problems because the whole concept of what I'm trying to do really relies on me being able to glue down this paper. And I had these glue dot runners that had been just sitting in a box, and I pulled those out and they weren't working. It just went completely off track. I couldn't use it anymore. I am not familiar with this brand, but I've never had this issue before with a glue tape runner. So I was just completely unprepared to even be dealing with this right now. And it really causes some hiccups because once I set this one aside, I've got a couple of backups. So I go through and I open those and I end up having the same exact problem with the remaining products. Now I did manage to get my monthly spreads glued down, and that's fine, but now I have nothing to set up the weekly spreads, which is supposed to be directly underneath. So I was getting pretty frustrated at this point, and I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and throw the numbers up on my monthly spreads and start setting those up, and then just kind of go from there, and I'll worry about the bottom here in a minute. So that's what I did. So for these monthly and weekly spreads for November, December, all I care about is YouTube. Once I fully move into the planner for 2026, I'm going to be tracking YouTube, food, health, and house cleaning. Make that apartment cleaning because I don't have a house yet. But that's kind of why I wanted to move into the planner early, because I feel like, well, if all I'm tracking up front is my YouTube schedule and when I'm filming and editing and all that stuff, then these 2 pages should really be enough. I don't have other tape in the house. I don't have other glue in the house. So at this point, I just really wasn't sure what I was going to actually be able to do with the rest of the spread. And this is kind of why I don't do very many plan with me videos, because I actually really enjoy doing them, but I'm not that creative of a person. Like, I can come up with some creative ideas, but the execution, it's always something. If it hadn't been the tape runner, it would have been something else. There would have been something I wrote that I felt like was too sloppy to leave in the video. There's always some way that it's just not executed the way that I want to, which is why I really focus on functional planning over decorative planning. I love decorative planning. I'm just not really all that good at it. So for my monthly spread, I'm basically going to take 2 different highlighters. Once I have all my dates in, I'm going to take 2 different highlighters, and one is going to represent channel number 1 and one is going to represent channel number 2, which is the channel that you're on right now. Now my upload schedule for full-length videos, which can be relatively short. Some of the full-length videos I think are like 6 or 7 minutes, but my upload schedule for November and December is pretty ambitious. So 3 videos for the first channel, and for I Want to Save Money, I want to upload every 3rd day. Now that does seem like a lot, but if I stay on top of it, if I stick to what I plan ahead for, then that's actually pretty doable with my schedule. Because by the time a video drops, that's been scheduled to post to YouTube for about a week. So I'm constantly staying ahead of schedule as long as I'm not missing filming days and not getting behind on editing. I also feel like it's a matter of actually mastering how to plan for YouTube, because it can be a little different than how you plan for other things. So let's say it's the 15th of the month and I want to upload a video. Well, if it's a video that's a simple plan with me, simple voiceover, don't really need to add any graphics to it, I can film it a few days prior and I don't have to worry about getting behind schedule. But let's say it's something for my first channel and it requires a lot of research, a lot of sources to go to that I'm going to want to include in the description, a lot of graphics I'm going to want to throw up on the screen for the audience to see. That's a way more complicated video to make. So I might want to start the process of researching that video on the 1st, maybe have a final script written by around the 5th, make sure I film it within the next couple of days. Then I still have plenty of time to play around with the editing to make sure I really get it right before it's actually scheduled to upload. Now, since I didn't know what to do with the weekly for the bottom of the page, I threw these sticky notes down, immediately took them off. That's just not going to work for what I'm trying to do. For one thing, the sticky parts were already coming up and I had just pressed them down onto the page. So I really just don't like those kind of sticky notes. They don't stay in place. The only type of sticky notes that I think are worth using are the kinds that you intend to move because it's part of your planning process, which is actually how I'm going to be planning in this planner. But for notating things that I want to actually stay in place, it just never seems to work for me. Of course, it could also depend on the brand. There's probably other brands of sticky notes that are a little bit better. Anyways, getting back to the top section with this monthly spread, as you see, I've got my 2 highlighters and I'm just going through and making sure they're offset a little bit so that it's very clear which channel is which and which one is being uploaded on which days. That way, if I do my weekly planning at the bottom, it's very easy for me to just look at that monthly spread and have that as the reference point for what I need to plan for the week. So once that was set up, since I couldn't really do what I originally wanted to do with the bottom section, I poured through all of these stickers that I have set aside. I am in a use it or lose it phase, and I have a ton of stickers that have not been used. And what I was trying to find was one of those really long stickers that's meant to go in like the sidebar for your monthly, because I never use them. I don't like those stickers, but that would be perfect for what I'm trying to do right here. So instead, I went ahead and put these boxes here along the bottom. Some of the weeks will have to be combined. I can't use this for... This is obviously not what I planned, but I think as far as kind of jumping in at the last minute and trying to figure something out, I'm not too sad about the results. Just wish it went the way I wanted it to. It was definitely nice to have these box stickers that I could write on. These sticky notes right here are the ones that I actually want to use. So I'm going to take the same color for a particular video and basically notate which days I'm filming, which days I'm editing, which days I'm uploading, and differentiating those things by the color of the sticky note. So those are the sticky notes I'm going to actually use that will be moved throughout the planner whenever I need to make last minute changes. Because if there's one thing I've learned about content creation, you definitely have to be able to roll with the punches. And planning ahead definitely matters, but sometimes you might have to make changes at the last minute. And that's one of the things that drove me away from paper planning to begin with, because I was constantly having to scratch out things and draw arrows to move my filming or upload date to a different day. And it just got really, really messy. So the next thing I'm doing is going through my monthly spread and writing down what the videos are going to be on their upload date. Once I know the upload dates for the videos, then I can go through and figure out when I'm filming and editing those videos and whether or not there's any other work that's going to be involved before I can start filming. And I'm not going to lie, around this point, I was kind of starting to just very much check out of this planning session because it was just it's not terrible, but it was such a disaster compared to what I originally had planned and just wasn't what I wanted at all. So by the time I got down to the weekly part, I was very flustered. I wrote down the wrong weeks on a couple parts. Some of it needed to be scratched out. So I don't know how much use I'm actually going to get out of it, but worst comes to worst, I do still have the other 2 pages before this, and I do have some more monthly spreads, so if I absolutely have to, I can get some more glue or tape or whatever I need to finish the project and go to those other 2 front pages to make my monthly and weekly spread for November and December, because I really do want to move into this planner. I love the layout. I think it's really going to work for how I want to plan things. I think just the layout with the being able to see the monthly and the weekly side by side without having to constantly flip back and forth, just that can make such a major difference. So I'm definitely glad I got this planner. I see myself getting a lot of use out of it. I love the layout. I do think it's decent quality. I think it's really, really pretty. So hopefully the rest of using this planner will be a lot more fun.